one day he was saying, it's a bad laundry day when it was raining. And I was just like, this, and he has a speech difficulty and everything. But like, what 6-year-old with a speech difficulty is going to look out the window and say, it's a bad laundry day? Like, that's my child. My name is Brianne Boylan. I live in Greenbelt, Maryland, and I attend Adelphi Friends meeting. My journey to parenthood is a little bit different than some people's. My partner and I decided that adoption was the right choice for us, somewhat based on, well, for him entirely based on stewardship reasons. He had already had a vasectomy because he didn't feel right bringing another American into the world with the resource consumption that we have, which is a pretty strong stance. And yet I married him, and I felt moved by his conviction. We were in the adoption process when a friend of mine had heard that a friend of his had actually thought about adopting her child, and they're environmental activists, and she already had 4 children, and she said, "Oh, I've always wanted to be like a surrogate mother, and I really have my hands full, and I want to do more activism, environmental activism work right now." So it was just a really amazing fit. I remember shortly before he was born, talking about, well, what are we going to do if this baby has some health conditions or is born with something that we know is going to affect them for the rest of their life. And feeling worried about that, but also feeling like a conviction that I think that maybe comes from my Quaker faith, that there's light of God in everyone, and that we would manage that however we would manage that, and with a community as well. I remember saying, like, I think it will draw us closer to you two if the child has something unexpected. Dimitri was born, and he did have something unexpected. He has trisomy 9p syndrome, which is a rare chromosomal abnormality. And we didn't know that right at his birth. And so, we were told he might never walk, might never talk. Here are the health problems that he might have. And that was really overwhelming at the time. And I spent quite a bit of his infancy certainly grieving the future that I thought my child would have. But by the age of 2, it was clear he was doing pretty well. And I realized what a joy I had in this child and what light he brings to my life. I was very interested in Quakerism because of their history and testimony of peace. And that came from a place of having childhood violence in my life. And I was kind of looking for answers to how do I move from that and seek nonviolence both within and without in my world. Yeah, that was nonviolent parenting. I feel like I need a Quaker workshop on that. But it's my goal. It's, again, one of the reasons why I feel like I want to be surrounded by Quakers is so that I can learn from them and absorb some of those lessons, because my own childhood was, I felt, was like violence and domination were part of the ways that children were raised. And that's not what I want for my child or the world. And so that was part of what drew me to Quakerism.
Thanks for watching this QuakerSpeak video. We release a new video every Thursday. You can watch all our videos in this playlist here. You can subscribe to our channel by clicking this button here. You can support us through our Patreon here. Thanks again for watching, and have a happy Thursday.